Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell. In this week's build here, I'm featuring, this is a 69 Dodge Dart GTS. Somewhat rare car, but one that's pretty cool with a few options, but a little bit on the pricey side. But Dodge ended up making something like 144,000 Darts for 69. And the GTS was the top performance package. They also had the Swinger. Swinger 340 is one I'd like to build, which doesn't look much different than this, other than the stripe's a little different on the powertrain. But for 69, the GTS, it was kind of expensive at $3,200 price. And it came with a lot of trim, the bulge hood and everything. And it came with for 69, a 340 engine was pretty much the standard engine for the GTS. That was probably one of the best packages of them, and most of them are that engine really. But also available was the 383 and the 440 in 69. But with only about 6,700 of these produced of the GTSs, most of them are 340s. The big blocks are highly prized. The model kit here is actually a 383. But the 340 was 275 horsepower and 340 foot-pounds of torque or something like that, or 325 foot-pounds of torque. But pretty well-balanced package. And you can get like all the amenities with that 340 engine. AC, power steering were available. But when you jump to the 383, at least the horsepower was bumped up. In 68, it was rated at 300 horsepower. The factory exhaust manifolds choked it down a bit. In 69, they got it back up a little bit. I'm not sure all the revisions that they did, but it was still 330 horsepower, or at least on paper, and a little bit more money. But you paid for it in a different manner, which is one of the reasons why I think the 340 is probably one of the better cars, and most people would agree with me. The 383 did make a bit more power, but it was 90 more pounds on the front end. You could not get power steering, and you could not get AC behind the 383. But the 4-speed manual and the automatic were both available behind the 383. The 440, if you stepped up to the 440, that jumped you a little bit more in the weight department. You got the 375 horsepower, but same thing, no power steering, no AC, and the 440 was no power brakes and automatic only. You could not get the 4-speed. The motor just got a little bit too high with that extra deck height. Just got a little too high and got into the brake booster. It had something to do with supposedly the linkages were in the way. So that's one of the reasons I heard that the 440 wasn't available with the 4-speed. But the 440 was mainly, they wanted that one to go drag racing. So roughly only 90 of those were actually built. And that's really only where that really pertained. The 383 was still rare, like roughly 10% of the 6,700 GTSs were made. Came with the 383, but you could get it in both the hardtop or the convertible, the 383. But with the extra 90 pounds on the front and traction being a problem, the 0 to 60 times between the 383 and the 340, right off the showroom floor, were pretty real similar, like 14.4, but it was just harder to get them to hook up and take off. But, you know, drag racers, they do what they needed to do, and they can get them to hook and take off. So, but this one, you know, the model depicts a 383 with an automatic, the full exhaust and everything. And, you know, it was, to me, you know, a pretty car and a very nice package. And just kind of fun to look at, but a little bit expensive. Like I said, it started at $3,200 once you got into the GTS. And then, you know, with the 383 in there, it was pretty heavy. It was still a 3,500 pound car, so it wasn't far off of some of the other little bit bigger muscle cars. I read somewhere that the GTO was actually really close, like there was a 21 pound difference between a 383 and a GTO with the 400 in it. So that's kind of interesting. Kind of skeptical about what I read there, but with a 21 pound difference in the, you know, the size of the two cars. Because this one is definitely a more compact car, but you know, you're packing that extra 90 pounds in the front with that 383 and everything. So okay, I can kind of see it. To get them to breathe better, you had to cut open and run fender well headers, which is what Mr. Norm did. But those would rub the front wheels when you turned So the turning radius was decreased a little bit by those. That's according to some of the reading on some of the cars that had that. But still, a great car and a real fun one to build. I did this one in F3 light green metallic. Before I get more into the build, let's take this outside and look at it in the sun. Well, here we are out in the Arizona sun, looking at this 69 Dart GTS. Hardtop here with that bulge performance hood and the scat pack stripes on the back and white on this one. There we go, looking good. Like those red lines there. They really pop nicely against that green paint. And let's get the hood open here so you guys can see the engine in the sun. There she is at 383. Here we go. This is a really good kit. So those of you who haven't built it, you gotta build it. It is a fun one to build. I know this 69 version's still a little bit hard to find now after all these years and never been reintroduced, but the 68 ones seem to be a bit more plentiful. I know it's been a while since the latest version of the Hemi Dart come out. That was a 2-in-1. You can build it as a 68 GTS or as the Hemi Dart. I built a couple of those, but those are somewhat easier to find now. But we'll head back inside and continue on. All right, well, this is, of course, this is the Revell kit, and it's a great kit. And for whatever reason, it was only issued the one time in this 69 version. And I'll throw the box art up here. And that was in like 1995. And it was a cool kit, and I really enjoyed building this one. It was pretty simple to build, pretty straightforward. And then they had changed the tool over to the 68 GSS initially, and then the GTS and the Hemi Dart variants. But all really cool kits. I built most of them, and I've got all the kits. I did a kit review on them anyway. But this Revell kit, it's a really nice kit to build. Although this one is turning into the harder one to find, but I think it's part of the popularity of it. Everybody, when they think about these, they think about the 68 Hemi Darts, which that's a really nice one to build, and I built a couple on the channel here. But here's that 383 4-barrel in there, and it comes with the manifold. This one's built right out of the box. I didn't do anything to it other just enjoyed building and everything. Got to be careful. These quarter windows, though, they're kind of hard to put in there, and I've knocked them off cleaning and had to re-glue them back in there. Not as easy to do once the vehicle's been built, but a really nice tail panel. The bumper guards on these bumpers, which the 68 kits don't have, and all the details. And even I had to paint the red lines on these tires. Came out really cool, and the paint on this, it's just an unusual color, but I was looking for something a little bit more subtle, just to kind of make this a bit more of a sleeper, even though it's got all the trim and everything on it. But still, a fun one to build, and the bulge hood for this GTS. So let's get this hood back in here. But it's a fun kit, and I've picked up a couple more over the years. They were easy to find. Now they're not so easy to find anymore. But for whatever reason, the 69 was not near as cherished as far as I think the bottling community that jumped on these. I do want to cut one into convertible. I know the GTS was available in a convertible, but also I want to do a Swinger 340, so I drop a 340 engine in it from the 71 Duster kit, because that's a great motor, and swap that in here and build a 69 Swinger 340. Just have a bit of fun with one of those, and maybe even do the floral top like we saw on Frank's Model Works channel as he featured his. Now this one I had done quite a number of years ago. I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. It was before I used automotive clear coat. Couldn't tell you what paint I used on this one, because I know I'm going to get asked whether it's something I custom mixed or not. I don't remember, but it was the first one of these A bodies that I had built, and just really enjoyed it. Like I mentioned, it's just a great kit to build. If you haven't built one yet, I do recommend it. The 68 kits are much easier to find, and been reproduced many times, and just a really fun kit. Yeah, check out that grill and everything. That's all just blacked out and painted. The chrome bumpers, headlights there, and those styled steel caps. But anyway, I think I'll call this one good, and hope you guys like it and enjoy it. It's been a little bit while since I've featured a Mopar. So you guys, thank you for tuning in, and all your comments, the subscriptions, your shares, and everything. I really do appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.